The dictum in politics that there is no permanent friendship or enmity, but permanent interest, seems to hold true for the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP family. The frosty relationship between the presidential flag bearer and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Rivers State Governor Journalists Wike seems headed for a resolution, or so it seems to us. Now, the two arrowheads of the party came face to face in a long-awaited meeting at the Abuja residence of Professor Jerry Ghana, a member of the Board of Trustees of the PDP. The tacit agreement is to sink their differences within 7 days. Politics, according to Chairman Mao Zedong, is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed.
You know, these are people who saw tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Yes, and what Chairman Mao said holds true when you're discussing politics in our country. Whether we like it or not, Wike is a factor in PDP. And Wike is not a pushover. He has so entrenched himself within the party that you cannot dismiss him as a pushover. If you dismiss him as a pushover, you do that at your own peril. And you've seen what is done in Rivers State, consistently winning elections. He has a track record of winning. If you can defeat Rotimi Amechi 2015, 2019, no matter how it happened, then you are not an underdog. You are not someone to toy with. And the resources are at his disposal. No one can doubt that. At a point when others were abandoning the party, he continued to fund the party. He was doing that to make himself strong, to make himself difficult to ignore. He has now made himself extremely difficult to ignore within the PDP. The primaries that were conducted before the presidential primaries in the PDP were dominated by elements loyal and funded by Journalists Wike, up to even Kogi State. Yes. Yes, he got involved. He got involved. He made sure, for example, that Dino did not win the primaries of the party in Kogi State. You can imagine all the way from Rivers. He got involved. I'm telling you this. And Dino will confirm this to people, that he saw Wike's hand in his defeat. He will confirm that. So he was doing all that to make himself strong.
As a matter of fact, when he dared the party to remove the primaries from Port Harcourt, remember in 2019, I thought he was up to something. So yes, he is the man to beat.
He did that by saying, look, the South-South had always supported the party. The South-South must produce the chairman. At a point when the Southwest was arguing that, look, we have never produced the national chairman of the party. This should be our turn. Wike insisted that, look, the party had always delivered. I mean, in the South-South, the South-South people had always delivered for the PDP.
And so you couldn't ignore them.
In the end, they allowed him to host the convention.
Yeah.
They allowed him to produce the national chairman. Someone he has now fought against, you know. So he has reached that point that the more than 1 million votes on the average that comes from Rivers cannot be toyed with. So Atiku and co need to manage him very well. Otherwise, it could embarrass Atiku at the end of the day. So I was speaking with a governor, one of the PDP governors, and he was telling me, The challenge we have, he said, the challenge we have is how to manage this man. He said because he said he has become not just the strength of the party, but the albatross.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but you can manage him in such a way that you make him feel wanted, you make him feel bigger than he is, so that he will leave you alone.
Let me humor you a little. My people say if you get picking, we get big head, and he's strong-headed in the house. Manage him, because his day might come. You never can tell.
Yes.
And
that's what they are trying to do with him.
Yeah, my brother, but you see, we talked earlier about Bola Ahmed Tinubu going, determining who his running mate would be. Exactly. So Atiku knew more than I think you and I seated here to make a Wike his number 2 man. Jide is talking about managing. So how do you manage?
The last time I was here, we discussed this particular issue, and I remember describing Nyesom Wike. I say, each time I talk about him in my column, I describe him as tiresome Wike. And I think that summarizes the whole thing. And somebody called in and said, we seem to be over
rating
Wike. Unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to answer back. The point is this. PDP says, when one president comes from the south, the next one will come from the north. When one president comes from the north, the next one will come from the south. Rather than do that, the PDP has picked a president from the north. Now, the chairman of the party is from the north. Chairman BOT is from the north. What I'm trying to tell you is this.
Chairman, PDP Governors Forum.
Governors Forum.
From the north.
From the north. You understand? Now, what can Wike do? The only thing he needs to do is to play on the Asaba Declaration and the Lagos Declaration that presidency, the governors in the south had said that.
Determine who number 2 will be.
The presidency in 2023 must come to the south.
To the south. Yeah.
That is the hand he will play, and I think they know. So that is why they now know that they have to manage him the best way. It's like a bull in a China shop. Yeah. If you don't manage him very well, you are looking for serious trouble.
If you factor this thing in, the man says, I'm not quitting the party. So this question of
enemy within is worse. You remember when the enemy came with 4 columns of soldiers to invade Madrid in Spain in the 1930s? The people of the city were in support. So that was how the phrase came, the 5th columnist. That is the enemy within.
Yeah.
That is even worse than those who are outside.
No, don't forget that a few weeks back, when the APC governors and some other leaders went to visit Wike, I said on this program that Wike will not quit the PDP because he will have looked at it, looked at the situation. He wants to install a governor that will succeed him. He has chosen the Accountant General of Rivers State to succeed him. If he decided to join the APC, he will be obligated to then support the candidate of the APC. The candidate of the APC is arch rival. Arch rival. What's his name? Amechi's candidate, or Amechi's boy, as the case may be. Where will his interest be? So the worst he can do is, if this matter stays unresolved, he can stay within the party and hurt the chances of Atiku, while ensuring that his own candidate is successfully installed as the next governor of
the state,
Rivers State. So there's nothing like defecting to the APC. He will remain there, steer a PDP to victory so that his own candidate can be the next governor, while deciding on his own what he would do during the presidential election.
Don't forget, all of these things will be about his personal interests.
Yes, that's the point that I'm making.
His personal interest. At the end of the day,
if he decided to join the APC, he would submit his personal interest
to the
enemy, and would be obligated to then back the candidate that Amechi
presents.
but where do you think this other thing came from? That Atiku must sign an agreement to run one term and blah, 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 blah. Have you not heard that?
Yes, because some time ago, Atiku actually made a promise that he would do one term. You know, politicians sometimes, to get support, will say, look, I will do one term. So those who are desperate, who are already on queue, who want to be also get to that position, would think that, oh, if I back this fellow, he's going to do 8 years. But somebody has promised to do just 4 years. Let me back the one who promised to do 4 years. The APC, some leaders of the APC were in that kind of situation with Buhari. After the first term, there were people who wanted to contest. And this leader said, no, let's support the man who has done one term. In 4 years, he will leave. If we support a fresh person, we won't be able to stop him from doing 2 terms.
8 years.
So this is the thing. If Atiku said that some time ago, then he should expect that at this point, they will remind him of the promise that he made at that time. You know, so this is the thing. That way, this thing will come back quickly to the south. Many of the governors of the APC and PDP are being attacked by their supporters. How come you have far more governors from the south than governors from the north?
Backing you.
Yet it was the APC that had more northern governors that decided that power should go to the south. How come you were effectively played out, despite your so-called numerical advantage? So for now, they will be thinking, well, if it does 4 years, it will be back to us. So it's all
politics
and self-interest. That's what we are seeing.
And nothing more. And they also are asking for the party chairman to go.
Yes, there was something the party chairman did that must have angered them. When he described Tambua as the hero of the convention. Somebody decided to step down to favor Atiku.
Yeah.
And the next day, you are hailing him.
You are making him
maybe you didn't know he was being recorded. Then you are now making him, you are calling him the Wizkid of the exercise. How can Wike hear that and be happy? He's still smarting from the defeat. And here was a chairman that you would have expected to be even-handed, objective, saying, you are the hero of the convention. To somebody who made Wike lose, he cannot be happy.
But again, Shote and Jide, Napoleon Bonaparte said, in politics, stupidity is not a handicap. So maybe they know how these things.
Boris Johnson proved that.